another print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Dzień dobry. This is Joanne Yanitsky, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the May 7th, 2026 issue of the Am-Pol Eagle on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. A quick reminder, paper, pencil, recorder, something to help you keep track of phone numbers, emails, and possibly recipes. I haven't scrolled ahead. I honestly don't know if there are any this week, but just in case. So, right on the front page, a lovely, lovely photograph of a group of women. They are dressed identically. They all have on black slacks and lovely red tops, and then they have matching scarves in red and black, and I don't know if it's a tan or a kind of a gold, but very, very nice. And this photograph goes with the article that says, Kalina prepares for competition and the 125th anniversary. The Kalina Singing Society was organized on March 1st, 1901. This year, 2026, Kalina celebrates its 125th anniversary of existence, a feat achieved by very few organizations. Quote, "We are very proud of each and every member and director who has contributed to this accomplishment," said Kalina President Michelle Halicki-Cofield. With the aim of promoting Polish culture through music, Kalina has participated in summer concerts at the park, the Father Justin Rosary Hour, radio and television performances. Kalina has celebrated its 50th, 75th, and 100th anniversaries with concerts and banquets. Kalina is proud of its annual affairs. Every December or January, Vigilia, the traditional Polish Christmas Eve supper, is celebrated. It is open to the public and a very successful event, says Cofield. Although Kalina mourns the recent death of its longtime director, Edward J. Vitul, and is searching for a new director, the singers will proudly participate in the National Convention of the Polish Singers Alliance of America in May of 2026, competing in the female chorus category. A luncheon and program will celebrate this anniversary at the Creekside Banquet Hall on Sunday, June 7th at 1 p.m. Kalina will sing several of its favorite songs on that occasion. Kalina is a women's choral group with the aim of furthering Polish culture through music and song. The Polish Singing Circle, KOLO, a male choral group, sponsored Kalina, and founding members numbered 12 under the first president, Michalina Nowak. Membership grew to 28, and the group gave its first performance in November 1901 under the direction of Maria Nowak. As early as 1905, Kalina sent its first delegates to the convention of the Polish Singers Alliance of America, which was held in New York City. Since then, some 125 years later, Kalina remains active in the Polish Singers Alliance of America and its local affiliate, District 9. Conventions of the national organization occur every 3 years at various locations. To date, Kalina has won 12 first, second, or third place trophies or plaques in competition at national conventions. Long ago, in 1953, a junior choir of young girls was organized under the direction of then-President Jean Mosicki and director Gerard Reinagel. The group of youngsters was featured in several concerts. Two junior members, Mary Jean Sidek and Michelle Halicki-Cofield, are still active singers and offices of Kalina. Kalina continues its musical rehearsals from September to December and continuing from February to June. It rehearses at St. Philip's Community Center on Lawson Road in Cheektowaga on Thursday afternoon. Cofield said, quote, Kalina offers prayers of thanksgiving for 125 years of camaraderie and song. It asks for blessings and hope for the future. Gora Piesn, Hail Song, end quote. More photographs, these are by Peter Sloan, that are unrelated to that article. A group with a priest and two lovely ladies, and who I believe is Andrzej Gołębiowski, and the caption reads, "The Polish Arts Club of Buffalo honored Andy Gołębiowski May 3rd at its Bieszczada banquet and Polish Constitution Day celebration at Tewksbury Lodge Waterfront Banquet Hall." And seated above, Reverend Marek Kreis of Corpus Christi Church, Helena Gołębiowski, Andy Gołębiowski, and Ann Szczęsny. PACB member Michael Zachowicz, he's featured in a photo below, gave a presentation. And Michael Zachowicz is at the podium, and it's a shot of the crowd sitting at their dinner tables at the Tewksbury Lodge Waterfront Banquet Hall. Then we have more Peter Sloan photos, a display, large map, a Polish falcon, what appears to be some newspaper clippings. Another display, I believe it's a family tree laid out on a large poster board. And then there are three lovely ladies, Jessica Colon, Barbara Rupert, and Diane Marciniak, and a gentleman in a Polish folk costume who is attending a table that has a book display. And the caption reads, the Polish Genealogy and Polonia Fair on May 3rd at St. Stanislaus Monsignor Adamski Social Center in Buffalo showcased many displays with information on historic Polish people, places, and events. It included a genealogical tribute to the late Maureen Gleason and a chance to chat with author and historian Rick Falkowski. So the gentleman in the folk costume is Rick Falkowski. And I'm guessing he's at a display of the books he has written, seeing as how he is an author and historian. So that's going to take us to Polish News Bites. Poland, confident in Patriot missile deliveries. Poland's defense leadership has sought to reassure the public and allies that critical military procurement plans remain on track even as global tensions threaten supply chains. Defense Minister Władysław Kosyniak-Kamysz stated that Poland has received no indication of delays in deliveries of U.S.-made Patriot air defense systems. This comes amid concerns that escalating conflict involving Iran could disrupt American weapons shipments to Europe. While acknowledging that minor delays may affect some equipment, Polish officials emphasize that key strategic systems like the Patriot batteries remain unaffected. The reassurance is significant given Poland's ongoing military buildup and its central role in NATO's eastern flank. Warsaw has been investing heavily in defense modernization, including missile systems, tanks, and drones, to counter perceived threats from Russia. Germany and Poland explore oil supply alternatives. Germany and Poland are in urgent discussions over alternative oil supply routes following Russia's decision to halt Kazakh crude deliveries via the Druzhba pipeline. The disruption, which took effect on May 1st, threatens supply stability for the PCK refinery in Schwedt, a key facility near Berlin. Poland has indicated it could help mitigate the disruption by facilitating oil deliveries through its Baltic port in Gdansk. However, officials cautioned that any increase in supply would depend on logistical and market conditions. The situation underscores Europe's ongoing struggle to reduce dependence on Russian energy while maintaining stable supply chains. Germany imported over 2 million metric tons of Kazakh oil via the Druzhba pipeline in 2025, with volumes continuing into 2026. Polish general warns of escalating hybrid warfare. A senior Polish military official has issued a stark warning that Russia is already conducting hybrid warfare against Poland. Lieutenant General Krzysztof Król cited cyber attacks, sabotage attempts, and airspace incursions as evidence of ongoing aggression. According to the general, Polish infrastructure, including railways, has been targeted in incidents that could have caused significant harm. He argued that NATO must adopt a more assertive stance to counter such threats, questioning what level of escalation would trigger collective defense measures under Article 5. Poland has responded by accelerating its military expansion, aiming to double its armed forces to 300,000 personnel and invest heavily in advanced weaponry. An editorial, our annual Mother's Day wishes. This Sunday, May 10th, is Mother's Day, that special day on which we let our beloved mother know just how much she means to us. She is the one person in our life that we can always count on for love, support, and understanding. There is no one else who gives to us so unselfishly and unconditionally. We should all view our mothers as a gift of God. She is the angel who protects us from all that is bad in the world. She is the one who provides us comfort when we experience the pain and pressures of everyday life. She provides the love we need when we feel that the world is ignoring us. Despite these gifts, we too often forget to thank her for her love. We are too busy, or worse yet, we simply take her for granted. So we ask that on this Mother's Day, you return her gift of love. Tell her how much she means to you and shower her with all the expressions of gratitude that you can think of. It is the least you can do for all that she has given. Happy Mother's Day to all. Another editorial. Getting gassed. At the start of President Donald Trump's second term, oil and gas prices were considered moderate and stable. However, following the attack on Iran and later the closing of the Strait of Hormuz in late February, oil prices have risen on the order of 50%, and gasoline and diesel prices have followed, according to Forbes. On March 31st, 2026, a group of New York State senators, including local representatives April Baskin and Jeremy Zellner, sent a letter to Governor Kathy Hochul, quote, in strong support of a New York State gas and diesel tax holiday in response to the recent spike in prices caused by the war in Iran, end quote. They asked the governor to act swiftly, stating, quote, a gas tax holiday, whether with triggers tied to price at the pump or a specific timeline, would be a tremendous help to people struggling to afford their daily commutes, visits to family, and business expenses, end quote. At $4.39 a gallon, if a motorist purchased 10 gallons, cost $43.90, they would pay $1.84 in federal tax, $3.34 in New York state taxes, and $1.84 in Erie County taxes, about $7.01 in taxes for that fill-up. As the turmoil in the Middle East continues and a month has passed since the letter was sent, both sides have an opportunity to take their foot off the tax pedal, but neither side does, as additional revenues fills federal, state, and county coffers. Letter to the editor. I received the April 16th issue today and noticed a few articles about Transfiguration Church. I think there was something in a previous issue. I haven't been in the area lately, but from what I've seen in the Am-Pol Eagle and other places, it looks beyond saving or reuse. There are derelict remnants of former churches in various places around Buffalo, and it's a sad sight to behold. One can only hope other churches recently closed do not wind up in the same way. There is a church on the east side that is beautiful and which faces an uncertain future, St. John Canty. Too bad there weren't enough people to save it. It is in a good location, is accessible, and wouldn't it be nice if something could be done to save it before it becomes like Transfiguration? Signed, Henry or Shulock. That actually takes us to our first break. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Am-Pol Eagle on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Vatican assessment decrees order monies back to Buffalo parishes. To date, April 30th, 2026, Save Our Buffalo Churches, SOBC, has 8 parish groups that have received a decree from the Vatican's Dicastery for the Clergy, revoking Bishop Michael Fisher's assessment allocation decrees. Each revocation ordered all transferred parish money back to these appealing parishes. SOBC fully expects the remainder of the more than 20 total appealing parishes to receive similar decrees in the near future. The parishes that have had their assessment decrees revoked to date are Ascension in Batavia, St. Timothy, Tonawanda, Blessed Sacrament, Tonawanda, Infant of Prague, Cheektowaga, St. John the 23rd, West Seneca, St. John the Evangelist, Olean, St. Aloysius Gonzaga, Cheektowaga, and St. Bridget in Bergen. Canon law is clear regarding the entire diocesan assessment allocation program. Obedience to the dicastery means Bishop Fisher returning these monies to the parishes. However, this protective power is accessible only to those parishes that appealed and received revocation decrees. Yet, SOBC acknowledges the inevitable impact these decrees must have on the bankruptcy settlement. All decrees have cited violations against the same canon laws, which govern the condition under which parish monies can be procured, as well as the amounts and methods undertaken to procure those monies. The amounts assessed, as well as the allocation procedures themselves, are wholly unsupported by canon law. In order to be valid and licit, amounts given by parishes must be moderate and proportional, so as not to impoverish the parish. Amounts exceeding $15,000 require the permission of the Vatican, which was not sought here. Any procedures resulting in the transfer of parish funds must adhere to a layering of canon and not-for-profit religious corporations law. There has been significant lack of adherence overall. Also significant is the dicastery's rejection of the storing of transferred funds into a common fund, the St. Joseph Fund, in part because it removes funds from the control of the parish. New York State Supreme Court Justice John Del Monte's decision on September 26th of last year stated the legality of these allegations hung on the determination of the diocese's hierarchical superiors in Rome. Those superiors are the Vatican's Dicastery for the Clergy, which has now ruled all main elements of the allocation to be illicit. SOBC now looks forward to the effect these decisions will have on the current civil proceedings. The victims must receive their settlement, but from legal sources. Note, Save Our Buffalo Churches is an all-volunteer core group of local Catholics partnered with parishes under the counsel of the St. Joseph Canon Law Foundation. So, it'll be interesting to see how this further plays out, and again, how it will affect the the allocation of the settlement monies to victims. Let's jump to Polonia's calendar. Thursday, May 14th, Polish Genealogy Society of New York State meeting. Breaking Through Brick Walls with Cluster Research. It's by Julie Roberts Shepenkiewicz at Erie 1 Bosse's, 355 Harlem Road, West Seneca, from 7 to 9 p.m. Sunday, May 17th, classical music concert featuring Dominika Zamata, a Polish operatic soprano trained in Italy, and the Polish Singers Alliance of America Combined Chorus. St. Stanislaus Church, 389 Peckham Street in Buffalo, 1:30 in the afternoon. Free will offering. There's a noon mass in Polish with music by Chopin Singing Society. This is sponsored by the Polish Arts Club of Buffalo, the permanent chair of Polish culture at Canisius University, and the Polish Singers Alliance of America. So you can get a twofer. Polish Mass at noon and stay for the classical music concert featuring Dominika Zamata. Sunday, May 17th, Lourdes Virtual Pilgrimage Experience, St. Adalbert's Basilica, 212 Stanislaus Street in Buffalo at 1:30 in the afternoon. Receive the Lourdes water, touch the grotto stone, adoration, benediction, and candle procession to the Basilica Grotto. A plenary indulgence is granted by papal decree and Vatican recognized. Sunday, May 31st, 2026 Derek Kaczorowski Memorial College Scholarship Deadline. Contact Jim Kaczorowski at jejkaz@yahoo.com or 716-864-4642. I'll do it again. jejkaz@yahoo.com or 716-864-4642. Sunday, June 7th, Sgraffito and Sonata, featuring talented young people with Arya Kneknos and Alicia Govindari, ages 15 and 14, pianist and violinist. Roman Hermach, pianist, age 14. Charles Radomski, winner of the 2025 Polish Arts Club Scholarship, and more. Assumption Church, 435 Amherst Street in Buffalo, 2:30 in the afternoon. Free will offering. Sunday, June 7th, Kalina Singing Society luncheon celebrating its 125th anniversary. Creekside Banquet Hall on Union Road at 1 p.m. Tickets are $70. For tickets, call Carolyn Norberg. Phone number 716-867-3161. Again, 716-867-3161. Thursday, June 11th, Polish Genealogical Society of New York State meeting, Publishing a Family History, The Process and the Details by Jerome J. Biedny at Erie 1 Bosse's, 355 Harlem Road, West Seneca, from 7 to 9 in the evening. And I forgot to mention that at Erie 1 Bosse's at 355 Harlem Road is across from the SPCA. Can't miss it. Sunday, June 13th, New Orleans Jazz Mass, concert at 4:45 p.m. and Mass at 5:30 p.m. St. Adalbert's Basilica, 212 Stanislaus Street in Buffalo. Music by the Brass Machine with vocalist Lindsay Holland. Another calendar. This is This Week in the History of Buffalo's Polonia by Carl L. Buckeye. The following is a list of events that occurred during the week of May 7th to May 13th. May 10th, 1878. Helena Modjeska, arguably the most accomplished actress of her era, performed in Western New York for the first time. 1905, groundbreaking for Dompolsky Hall on Broadway in Buffalo. May 12th, 1912, the Polish, Jewish, and Italian communities hold a joint rally at Buffalo Star Theater to protest proposals in Congress to restrict immigration to the United States. Speakers include Health Commissioner Francis E. Franchak, Dr. Charles R. Bozzolari, and Solomon Ginsburg. May 13, 1914, 10,000 people attend the groundbreaking ceremonies for the Polish Union headquarters at 761 Fillmore Avenue. May 8, 1945, all stores in the Broadway Fillmore district of Buffalo are closed in response to the announcement of the surrender of Germany in World War II. The Polish churches of Buffalo arrange special services. These include hourly prayers at Corpus Christi, a litany to Our Lady of Victory at St. Stanislaus Church, and a Mass of Thanksgiving celebrated by Bishop Yashinsky at Holy Mother of the Rosary Cathedral. I always find those quite interesting to think. Many of us weren't born yet for many of those dates or any of those dates. We have a strong history in Polonia, in Buffalo, and Western New York. There is a page for Happy Mother's Day, and I'm going to mention some of these. Loving Mother, Sophie Michalski, your daughter Michelle. From Terry Bushka, thank you, Mom, for all you are. Anne-Marie, John, and all your loving family. In Memoriam, Martha Virobek, from her daughter Mary Lou. Loving and best mom, late Mary Nasternak. Your loving daughter Jean, miss you so much, Mom. In loving memory of our mom, Ida. That's from Barry and Kathy. There's a photograph of Mom with two young daughters. I'm going with 6 and 8. And it reads, with love to our mom, Denise Okonieski, Marie Cecile, and Annie France. In loving memory of our mother, Sophie, from Kathy and Leo. A family photograph for our mother, Rose, from Anne, Mark, and Julie. And they're pictured in the photograph with Mom. We have in loving memory of our mom, Martha, from Stephen and Joseph. We have for my godmother, Renee, from Anne. Kochamy cię, babciu, od Justynki I Maksha. There's a photograph, a young teenager. There's another one in there, a young boy too, with possibly grandparents in front of an Easter display. In loving memory of our mom, Mary, Donna, and Anna. To the woman who taught me how to enjoy life. I love you, Mom. No name. Great picture. Ruth Sklarski McElroy. Ruth is wearing a nurse's uniform, and it says Serdeczna Matka, a song I remember well. In loving memory of our mother, Teresa, daughters, Christine and Anna. That's going to take us up to our next break. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Am-Pol Eagle on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Next in line, Tom Tadapachki's Tom Talk. Vidra gets noticed in new sci-fi series. Pluribus on Apple TV Plus is turning out to be a big hit for the streamer, and Catalina Vidra is drawing wide acclaim for her acting performance in the science fiction series. The show follows novelist Carol Sturka, played by Rhea Seahorn, who finds herself immune from a global happiness virus that eliminates selfishness and crime, but destroys individuality. Vidra plays a major role as Zosha, an infected human who acts as a chaperone to Carol. Critics and audiences have had high praise for the unique film and the riveting performances. Catalina Isabella Vidra was born on March 5, 1981 in Am-Pol, Poland. Her mother, Irene, was a math teacher, and her father, Josef, taught art. She has an older brother, Patrick. In 1992, when Catalina was 11, her family emigrated to the U.S. They settled in Orange County, California, where her parents started a cleaning business. Her parents separated in 2012, after which her mother returned to Poland. Vidra started out as a model and in 1997 won the Elite Legions Model Look Contest. She later appeared in print advertisements for brands such as Armani, Exchange, Levi's Red, Calvin Klein, Dooney and Bourke, John Frieda, and Kenneth Cole. Catalina transitioned to acting with film roles in 2008, appearing in the comedy Be Kind, Rewind, playing Gabrielle Bochensky. She also had television roles as Dominika Petrova in House, the vampire Violet Mazursky in True Blood, Detective Diane Kubek in Wicked City, and the alien Izel in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Catalina is married to executive producer Chad Hamilton and has 2 sons. The next section has a little lead-in, and it says, Angry Polish In-Laws. Tim Allen talked about his wife's Polish family on Bill Maher's Club Random podcast in an episode released in January. He got into that as the pair was talking about Russians. Quote, my wife's family are Polish, and in a room, I got this, Allen said. They were on vacation at a Polish club in Pennsylvania when his wife's father, quote, a great man just recently passed, offered a toast by saying, Na zdrowie. And I go, Russians, said Allen. And then the whole place stopped. The family responded, quote, we're not goddamn Russians, end quote. Allen told them, yeah, you look like Russians. You sound like Russians. Okay, but Russia invaded Poland, killed a lot of them, interjected Maher, so I can see why they don't like them, end quote. Allen married actress Jane Hajduk on October 7, 2006, and their daughter Elizabeth was born in March 2009. She has had a successful career as an actress beginning in the early 1990s with the film Sex Crimes. Jane also has had a role in a number of TV shows like Benchmarks, Chicago Hope, NCIS, and Monk. On several occasions, the couple has appeared together, including in 2001's Joe Somebody and 2016's The Shaggy Dog. Hajduk was born and raised in Oil City, PA. Her father, Matthew J. Bosco Hajduk, recently passed away at the age of 89. Big talker. You may remember Jenny Jones from her very popular daytime talk show that ran for 12 seasons beginning in the early 1990s. Well, she's no longer on TV. Jenny maintains a website that promotes, among other things, Polish cooking. She was born Janina Stronsky on June 7, 1946, in Bethlehem, Palestine. Her father, Jan, was a Polish army officer who was with the British Armed Forces at the time of Joan's birth. Her mother, Zosia, was a seamstress and dressmaker. The family later moved to Italy and then to Canada, and Jenny grew up in London, Ontario. Joan started her career as a drummer in a rock band and later became a singer. She then tried stand-up comedy. In 1986, she became the first woman ever to win the Star Search Comedy Grand Prize. Her routines often contained references to growing up in a strict Polish Catholic household. That led to her getting her own talk show, The Jenny Jones Show, which ran from 1991 to 2003. Nowadays, Jones lives in LA and maintains an official website, jennyjones.com, a cooking website, jennycancook.com. That's the site that has a Polish cooking section, and a YouTube cooking channel. Her Polish recipes include many traditional favorites like pierogi and gołąbki, as well as healthy punchki that are baked, not fried. Very interesting. Let's check the healthy punchki out, getting ready for next year. Okay, an amazing story. Often featured on TV talk shows was the man known as the Amazing Kreskin. Kreskin's real name was George Kresge Jr., and he was born in Montclair, New Jersey in 1935. His father was the son of Polish immigrants John and Mary Potocki Kresge, and his mother, the former Lucy Cantalo, was of Italian heritage. Both of George's parents were devout Roman Catholics, and they thought he might become a priest. However, at a young age, he developed a talent for reading minds and passed up the priesthood. When he launched his career, he became simply Kreskin and was dubbed Amazing by Johnny Carson. He rose to fame in the 1970s by performing on numerous TV shows, including 88 appearances on The Tonight Show. He always presented himself as a mentalist as opposed to a psychic. Kreskin had his own television show, The Amazing World of Kreskin, in the 1970s and made numerous personal appearances. His act included feats like telling audience members he had never met their social security numbers, license plate numbers, or the names of streets they lived on. He also made many predictions. His best known was probably when he forecast that Seattle would win Super Bowl 48 by the near exact score of 43-8. He also predicted that Malcolm Smith would make a big play. Smith returned an interception for a touchdown and was named MVP. Kreskin died in December 2024 at the age of 89. I wonder if Seattle knew about that prediction. They must have. I wonder if they paid any attention to it. Too bad he's not around to give us a prediction for the Sabres. Okay, what they said. You cannot hope to build a better world without improving the individuals. To that end, each of us must work for our own improvement and, at the same time, share a general responsibility for all humanity, our particular duty being to aid those to whom we think we can be most useful. And that's a quote from Marie Curie. PBW of Polonia to welcome Kathy Carr, jazz vocalist, pianist. There is a photograph of Kathy Carr. She's got a microphone in her hand, and this is a photograph of her taken while she is singing. No other identification. The Professional and Businesswomen of Polonia Scholarship Dinner is Thursday, May 28th, 2026 at Clocks Grove, where they will award their annual scholarship. PBW is excited to welcome as this year's entertainment Kathy Carr, a jazz vocalist and pianist based in Western New York, known for her distinctive voice and rich, soulful performances. Carr is currently the featured vocalist with the popular jazz group My Cousin Tone. She has performed at the Lewiston Jazz Festival, as well as with groups such as the Elliott Snyder Gershwin Tribute and the Pyramid Big Band, solidifying her reputation as one of Western New York's premier jazz performers. Carr has a well-established solo career. She frequently performs her unique style of piano and voice at venues such as the Country Club of Buffalo, and was a regular performer at the Western Door Steakhouse and E.B. Green's. She is the owner of Matt's Music Incorporated, a local music center that has been a cornerstone of Western New York music education and community spirit. The center was founded in 1963 by Kathy's father, Matt Piotrkowski. It started as a small accordion studio and has grown into a thriving family-owned music school that now boasts the largest vocal instruction program in the region. Carr is passionate about sharing her talents with local schools and churches. As the music director at Grove Street Christian Church and a guest accompanist at Starpoint Elementary and High Schools, she inspires and nurtures the next generation of musicians. She and her husband also perform at Western New York's retirement homes, bringing music and humor to the lives of the residents. Visit www.pbwofpolonia.com for reservation details. This dinner is open to the public and all are welcome. I'm going to give that webpage again, www.pbwofpolonia.com. Okay, that could be a fun party. Excuse me. They have a big ad right below it. And let's see, there is more information. At 5:15, there is a cash bar and networking. At 5:45, there's a quick business meeting. Dinner is served at 6. The scholarship presentation at 7:15. And Kathy Carr, the entertainment begins at 7:30 p.m. So there is a detachable, I guess you'd have to print this out and cut off the slip of paper, because you have to circle your dinner choice. You have grilled marinated chicken, prime rib au jus, or salmon with dill sauce. And then below that, the marinated chicken is $45, guests are $50. Prime rib and salmon with dill sauce are both $50 with guests at $55. Then there's a place for a member's name, guest's name, member's phone number, member's email, and if you cannot attend, there's a place that you can enclose your donation towards this year's scholarship fund. So you can either go to that website, or if you can track down a copy of the Am-Pol Eagle. Let's see, it goes to the application for the dinner. Goes to Barbara Wetzel, Wetzel, Post Office Box 298, Elma, New York, 14059. There is a phone number for Barbara, 716-725-7096. Again, 716-725-7096. Must have it in by May 21st. You still have time. Okay. Let's take our last break. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Am-Pol Eagle on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. That gets us to the infamous Am-Pol Eagle centerfold with so many photographs. These photographs are by Peter Sloan, and they are photographs of the 2026 Bieszczada honoring Andy Gołębiowski. Group photos, individual photos, toast, photos of a toast, photos of, since it's a priest, I'm guessing it could be a blessing before dinner. And the caption reads, Polish Arts Club of Buffalo President Robert Franczkowiak with 2026 Bieszczada honoree Andy Gołębiowski. The Polish Arts Club of Buffalo held its 2026 Bieszczada Banquet and Polish Constitution Day celebration at Tewksbury Lodge Waterfront Banquet Hall in Buffalo on May 3rd. The Bieszczada honoree was Andy Gołębiowski, host of the Polish-American radio program, which airs on WEBR radio and online. The PACB prepared the following bio for the celebration. Gołębiowski was born in Buffalo, New York, to Andrzej and Helena, both survivors of World War II. His father was in the Polish army and a prisoner of war in Germany. His mother, Helena, survived both the Soviet and German invasions of her village in eastern Poland. Andy holds a master's degree in media studies and American studies from the University at Buffalo. He currently hosts and produces the 90-minute Polish-American radio program featuring Polish music, news, stories, and interviews. Along with other descendants of Polish non-Jewish World War II survivors, Andy co-founded the Polish Legacy Project World War II, with the aim of sharing stories of their elders with the community at large. Fluent in Polish, he is a professional translator and interpreter certified by the New York State's court system. Andy has a rich and varied work history. He has worked as a photojournalist at WGRZ-TV and as videographer and editor at Daybreak TV Productions of the Diocese of Buffalo. He produced, directed, and edited a film for the Sisters of St. Francis at Stella Niagara and has worked on a video series with Polish traditions expert Father Czesław Krysza about the spiritual significance of Polish Easter traditions. From 1990 to 1993, he worked in Washington for Sister Cities International as the coordinator of the Polish Municipal Exchange Program involving American and Polish sister cities. The program allowed for the first democratically elected local government officials of Polish cities since 1939 to learn the workings of local government in their American sister cities. Andy worked as a Polish language radio announcer with Staś Jashiński and Halina Jawor in Buffalo, and as a legislative assistant with Buffalo Councilman David Franczyk for over 10 years. He has served on numerous boards of directors, including Polish Community Center, the permanent chair of Polish Culture Villa Maria College, Corpus Christi Parish Council, Buffalo Cable Access Committee, and is a former president of the Adam Mickiewicz Library and Dramatic Circle. And I have to correct myself. Andy served on boards of directors, including the permanent chair of Polish culture. That's at Canisius College. Then he was on the board of Villa Maria College. I continue. He attributes his achievements to those who came before him, saying, quote, "The self-made man is a myth. I am grateful to my parents and grandparents for instilling in me a love of God and of the Polish culture, along with the importance of passing it on to future generations and sharing it with others." End quote. And there is also a photograph of Andy's mother, Helena, with Robert Franczkowiak. And she's got a microphone in her hands, so I hope she's saying nice things about her son, Andy. More pictures. That was just the first half of the centerfold. photograph of the Mazovsha dancers. Mazovsha in Toronto, the Polish-American radio program, recently organized a trip to Toronto for 70 people from Buffalo and Niagara Falls to see a performance by the Mazovsha Ensemble in Toronto. The ensemble presented Polish folk-inspired standards along with songs from American film and stage productions. Following the show, the ensemble's director, Jacek Boniecki, promised to consider a larger tour in 2 years. In celebration of Polish Constitution Day and Polish Genealogy Day, St. Stanislaus Church offered a spaghetti dinner. The delicious dinner was prepared by Chef Ed Gavran and was enjoyed by old friends and new. And there is a photograph of what looks like some pretty clean plates of people in the social center. And this photograph is courtesy of Christine Palczewski. Looks like there might have been a basket raffle. There's somebody with some sort of, or at least a door prize, because somebody won a nice bottle of Polish vodka, and I can't read the fine print. We have 2 polkas on tap. Saturday, May 9th, Honky Polka Dance, Newell Faulkner, American Legion Post, 2912 Legion Drive in Eden from 6 to 10 p.m. $10 in advance, $15 at the door. Buffalo musicians are playing. And on Thursday, May 21st, Polka Buzz at Batavia Downs with John Stevens Double Shot. Starts at 7 p.m., $10 will get you in to tap your toes. Okay, there is, let's see, I think I can get in this quick recipe. Nothing better than beef. Recipes from Polish Heritage Cookery, available on Amazon.com, and it's written by the late Robert and Maria Sribel. Tenderloin steaks, the traditional way. Slice 1.5 pounds of beef tenderloin into 1-inch steaks. With the flat of the knife, even out the sides of each steak to form more or less regular rounds. Heat 3 tablespoons of lard in a skillet, and when very hot, fry the meat several minutes on both sides to get the degree of doneness you prefer. Before turning over steaks, sprinkle topside with freshly ground pepper. Salting steaks during cooking may make them tough, so allow dinner guests to season the portions on their plate. Serve with potatoes or rice and a salad. Slice tomatoes in summer with grated carrot, apple, and horseradish salad in winter. Okay, that's an easy one. Beef shish kebabs. Cut 1.5 to 2 pounds beef tenderloin, or use a less expensive cut like sirloin, into 1-inch squares and pound with a meat mallet. In crockery bowl, place the meat slices one on top of the other, sprinkling each with pepper, a little thyme and or marjoram, lemon juice, and oil. Cover and let stand at room temperature for 3 hours or up to 2 days in the refrigerator. Cut sliced, uncooked bacon into pieces the length of the steak and choose firm tomatoes, onions, and fresh mushroom caps of approximately the same size. Thread the meat, bacon, sliced tomatoes, sliced onions. The tomatoes should be sliced about a 1/2 inch thick, the onions much thinner, and mushroom caps onto skewers rather tightly. Fry in 4 tablespoons of lard on all sides until tender. Another way is to brush the oil and cook in a home rotisserie or over charcoal grill. Serve immediately with cooked rice and a lettuce salad. This is but one version of the Middle Eastern favorite that has enriched the cuisine of Poland and many other countries as well. If you're going to use skewers and a gas grill, soak the skewers, wooden skewers, in water. If you have those metal kind, just be careful because they get awful hot. We don't have time for a science article, but the title reads Scientists Grow Lab-Made Blood Vessels, Offering Alternative to Animal Testing. I may have to go to the website, Polish National Science Center, and it's at www.scienceinpoland.pl. There also, there's an article here about a triple Polish celebration at Polish Saturday School. Photographs courtesy of Christine Palczewski and Polish Saturday School. And let's see if I can pick through this quick. Teachers gave out certificates to their students. They closed the event with delicious hot dogs and raspberry cake, along with wishes for a safe and enjoyable summer. And they celebrated Polish Constitution Day, Polish Flag Day, and Day of All Poles Living Abroad, Polonia Day. And there's some very cute little ones. I'm going to give 5, maybe 6 years old. And then, of course, the older children. And there's flags and certificates and lots of smiles. And a photograph of Principal Mira Schrammel and PAC President James Lavichki. The cake, the raspberry cake, looks good too. Okay, time to wrap it up. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the May 7th, 2026 issue of the Am-Pol Eagle. We read from the Am-Pol Eagle every Saturday at 3 p.m. Your reader has been Joanne Yanitsky, and I wish everyone who celebrates a happy Mother's Day. Thank you for listening. Do widzenia.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Island Dispatch. Following that, at 5 o'clock is the Lockport Union Southern Journal, and at 6 o'clock, we have the Jamestown Post-Journal. Stay with us for these readings and more. If you're listening to this publication online, you're probably using our website, a podcast player like Spotify or iTunes, a streaming service like Siro, or a smart speaker. Did you know that we now have a dedicated app that can be downloaded to any mobile device, like a smartphone or tablet, for free? App users can conveniently access our live stream and any episode of our podcast easier than ever. To download the app, just type NFRRS in the search window in the Apple App Store or in the Google Play Store. Contact us anytime if you have any questions by calling 716-821-5555, extension 5. Thank you. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability,